pen, paper. All right. Item 1, sell 1 acre lot B, open land adjacent to our neighboring Unity School. You will see a line out there today, a paint line. We got a land surveyor to mark out the 2 lots. On the title for this property, which all is in the name of Temple of Light, there are 2 lots. Lot A, which this house is on, 1.5 acres. Lot B, the open land over there, which is an acre. So by the way, all of these are not my suggestions. These came from people who said, hey, I see an option for us, and I put it down here. Okay, so when I checked around, is Dennis here? He and others in real estate and Faith and others who checked it, they said we could get up to US $2 million for it. The question, am I right? Yes, the question is, you have to ask yourself, how will it be used, and also how would it affect our operations? So, so our resident architect Lascelles walked the property 2 weeks ago with me, and he says, Doug, if we sold it, we could still get 50 cars parked over here. So that's one of the questions. But you have to ask, what would a purchaser do with it? Apartment, building, commercial complex, whatever. So think about that. These are all options we have to process in our own minds for each of us to make a decision on. So that's 1. Sell 1 acre lot. Number 2, lease lot B, which is, instead of selling it, lease it to somebody who would use it. The issue with that, though, if you think about it, if somebody could afford to lease a 1 acre in this area, they probably have enough financial resources to buy it. And so therefore the question, how easy would it really be to find somebody? That's a big question mark in that regard. And also, how would they use it? You know, because more than likely they'd want to build something permanent on it, unless they're going to park used cars there. No, I'm not joking, you know. There's a huge demand out there for people. If you're in this business, you know that people with cars imported looking for places to park them. But I throw that in to get people's minds ticking. 3, expand the community of entrepreneurs we currently have. We have 2 paying us rent so far. Just Sugar, Container, and Afia Yoga, the space to my right. And they're paying us, I believe, over $100,000 a month in rent. So I'm very happy that this business is so viable that it can pay that kind of rent. Great. So here is the possibility to find other businesses that are compatible with our teaching that we could use within this space. And when I say this space, the entire property, both this building or the 1.5 acres or the 1 acre over there. And there are people interested. So there are 2 that I came across. One is, I heard about a vegan outlet at Seymour Place. I said, you know what, let me go buy a vegetable soup there. I went, the owner, I hear she had approached, somebody had approached her from here to say, hey, no parking down there. You want somewhere else? He said, yes. I said, like where? Oh, like here. I said, but do you cook there? She says, no, all I have is an outlet. Cook somewhere else and move it in, and scores of people come for lunch. So that's one possibility. And guess what? I think we have somebody very experienced in food and beverage in this community. Who is that? Oh, yes, Theo Smith. So you can advise us on the workability of that. The next one is, we actually have a member who has a Saturday marketplace for, you know, craft items. She was looking for a space, she had to move, and she went somewhere else. But she actually looked at here. So the question we have to ask, how come we didn't convince her to come here? Because that's ideal. Can you imagine a Saturday here with lots of people interested in healthy living and the environment coming? And also, it's movable because they come and pitch tents and they're gone again by Saturday evening. So that's another possibility for us. And there may be others that you all can think of, because small entrepreneurial business are desperate for space. And what Lascelles said is, what we could do is get a bunch of containers, just like the 20-foot up there, modify it, and then we get income. And the other advantage with containers, you don't have to get planning approval. You just put it there and off you go. So that's option 3. All right, option 4, this is a drastic one now. And it's come up before, I understand, before I joined the church or become active here. And that is to sell the entire property, all 2.5 acres, buy a smaller location, and then use the difference to invest in order to continue to be sustainable. So you can think about that one as well. Okay, the 5th one, this is the 5th and final one. We can continue as is. And if we continue as is, then we are going to run out of cash based on my estimation before the end of this year, in which we need to close our operations here as we currently exist, as we're currently functioning. And then we would end up going back to somebody's home and meeting in somebody's living room or veranda, because very often it's 20, 30 people that they can hold in somebody's home. And that's where Reverend Elmer started. So that is a very real option. So that's a do-nothing option. So that really concludes what my analysis is. As I said, it's fact-based, and we need to move on from there. There's one other thing I would put in there. If it would have been great if once Norman had made that announcement, every month we had a set of accounts for the previous month to say, okay, the collections for weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4 were this for last month, and we need to find a way to improve it. Or, hey, something happened on that particular week, and the offerings were more. The 3rd week in February of last month, the offerings was $39,000. It's impossible to run a vibrant church with that level. So remember what I've said, folks. I am looking for within your hearts for that commitment. And that's it from Doug. So I will now hand over to the chairman. Yes. Okay, so.
Hi, everyone. So thank you, Doug, for that presentation. Valerie has a question.
Hello? Yes. Sorry, I just need to say, I think we need to consult the Articles of Association to see whether we are allowed to sell, because I seem to remember being told that the articles prohibit the property from being sold. I was looking for my copy and I couldn't find it, or I would have brought it. But I need to be, we need to be aware of that.
So what's going to be happening in very short order? Listen, please. What's going to be happening in very short order is you're going to have the opportunity to vote on one of these options. Our online folks can vote as well. So Doug, I had to put that online so that everybody could have access. Now, once you vote, like if you vote to sell the property, then the due diligence has to happen, Valerie. We would have to then investigate. You can't just automatically sell. We have to see if that is possible. So what I want you to know, what you are voting on is the action that we're going to take, and that action has multiple steps. We have to do our research, right? So just understand that. We can't just put out a sign and say we're selling. We have to do our due diligence. So I just wanted to offer that. And I want to thank Doug for all the time and personal expense he put into having the land surveyed, having an architect come out, running the numbers. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Okay, I can just add to that. There's a crucial point. When you have in business options and you choose one or more, you must have one person responsible and accountable to deliver on that option. So therefore, before we leave this meeting, whichever option we choose, we have to say there's one person here who is going to carry it through. I'm going to give you the other suggestion I'd make coming from business, that we come back here in 3 months and have another EGM and we report on where we are. But here's the good news. You're getting together on May 4th, 1 month's time. So we can start the process of increasing donations, counting how many people come to church on a Sunday, because we haven't been doing that. Look, I'm an engineer, I'm data driven, right? So, you know, you count everything, you measure everything, what gets measured gets done. But I put that in the mix because it's not like we're just deciding something and off we go, and there are no things that have to be done. So I put that in. In the same way, by the way, I have an appointment for 12 noon tomorrow at Music Mart with an experienced drummer that Eleanor has arranged, and Sandy is going to be there with me as well. I'm going to invite Ifashani to go because I need a young person involved in this as well who can guide us old people.
Yeah, I just want.
All right, so we will be voting, but
Yeah.
I'm going to allow Valerie or Treasurer the opportunity to just speak on the finances that has been shared.
Sorry, I just
but-
want to clarify one of the options. Excellent presentation and analysis. Just wondered, number 3 included rental of the venue for workshops and trainings, because that's a big, as you know, in the government service, that's something that we do.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So
All right,
I just wondered if
I'm glad you asked that.
Right, yeah.
This is something we have talked about for years.
Yeah.
Now I'd ask, who is responsible, who is accountable in our community for delivering on that? Who is it? Well, who is the person? And that's why we haven't had it.
Yeah.
You cannot implement unless you have one person responsible and set goals and say, these are the things you need to do, and you have to do it by a certain time, and if you don't do it, we'll find somebody else. Let me be blunt with you. And that's why we're in this situation.
Just clarification that in voting, that would be one of the options when you talk about
One of the options?
expanding community enterprise.
No, but it's it's in option 3.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. Thank you very much for the excellent presentation.
All right, so with that, Tamu, I was just taking 3 questions. So Shirley, you can go ahead. Sure. And then we have Lascelles and Sonita.
Just briefly, Mr. Rains had mentioned something about containers and all that, and it triggered my memory because some years ago when we always needed money, Mrs. Abrams went on the board and she was responsible for renting these 2 places from which we earn income now. And she was also talking about somebody who was hands-on and needed
The space,
to put containers and something else to rent something over there. And as you said, Jackrabbit, she was off the board and it was all forgotten. That's one thing. So I would suggest that she maybe asked if she have any other ideas, because that is something that was on the board, on the floor before, which was a good idea because this has worked. The other thing is that in planning or fundraising, we have to make absolutely sure that our expenditures do not exceed our income, because that is what happened to the concert. And in hindsight, I'm sure a lot of things can be spoken about and everything, but it's academic, the expenditure and the income.
Sonita, and then Lascelles.
I just want to say we do need proper accounts.
That is
okay?
something to mention,
Really,
yes.
really, really need proper accounts. Yeah, it's been said already. The number 2, it occurred to me that between option 2 and option 3, that it would be easier if we could get for option 2 somebody who would lease the entire acre, right? But I am inclined to say option 3 because I know I mean, right now, there are 2 organizations I know who are willing to bring in trailers and rent a portion of that space, okay? And they are a part of, or, you know, yeah. However, that's going to take a lot of coordination and planning and execution. So I want us to consider if some of us would look at option 2 and advertise it and see what comes about from that. So actually, that's why I'm going to choose option 2. But we might end up with option 3, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I know you only want one option, but I am torn because of what I just said.
Okay, so we have option 6, which is lease the 1 acre, and if that doesn't happen, default to renting to small businesses. So if everybody can write option 6, you have that as a choice too. I mean, we could have 10 or 15 options or more, I tell you. But that's the nature of life. But we have to choose the ones that look most realistic. Okay.
All right, go ahead, Lascelles. Lascelles has a question.
Yes, they are. Yes, I know.
And then that's it. Go ahead, Lascelles.
Yeah, I just want to suggest that there are either 2 or 1 or 2 missing links. The first missing link is that what we have here is ideas. We have to put estimates with the ideas. If, for example, we decide to go, we meaning the members decide to go with number 3, which is expand the community of entrepreneurs, then we have, this would mean we are talking about putting trailer units in there. There will be costs associated with the trailer units. You have to put in foundations. You have to probably do some repairs. You have to do painting up. You may have to do put in doors and windows. And all those costs will have to be added up. And then you now begin to look at the income generation from the thing.
Can I answer on that, Mr. Orange?
So,
can I answer for it, or you want to go ahead? So, from what I understand, Mr. Orange has...
You're talking about a preliminary, it's like a little business plan.
Understand. So from what I understand, what Mr. Oren has shared is we're voting on the idea, and we do need to go forward with the due diligence, research, see the options. Even in idea number 3, we have to look into, are we putting up trailers? Are we just renting the land space and someone coming to trailers? Are we renting space here?
Okay.
This is a start.
We can go into that detail once we have chosen an option. But let me say this. Just Sugar, when we rented the container to them, they renovated it themselves, did everything. It didn't cost us $1, cost them $2 million, but they paid it back out of the rent. So therefore, there are ways to handle these situations. But to do it in 15 minutes at the AGM, can't do it. You just have to choose one.
All right, Jennifer, you're next. Jennifer, Mr. Oren, you have Jennifer next, and then we can go to Denise and Norman.
What I just want to bring to the fore is that, and I think Theo has it planned, that Valerie is to share some kind of accounts.
Yes.
Because from our auditor, I was late to give her apology, and that's why he got it late. But she made the point that saying that, because she had a conflict of events, she couldn't be here, but she said, because we don't have a set of audited accounts yet, if there is a difference between what we are presenting, the unaudited accounts, and the audited accounts, if they differ substantially, what is it that we will do? So we really need to have our audited accounts, the same thing that Sunita is asking for. So I just want us to keep that in mind, because we are going on the basis of unaudited accounts right now.
That's
and there
correct.
could be a substantial difference. I just wanted to make that public.
Yeah.
Okay?
That is correct.
Thanks.
Norman, you can just, oh, sorry, Denise.
Denise was next.
Oh, you can go to Norman. All right.
So quickly, I'm one of those persons, once deciding, I act. Might take a little while, but I act. So case in point, our continuing conversations that matter, it has resumed, and probably it's a secret to someone not aware. We resume it in February. We have 2 sessions in February and in March, and one planned for April 9. It's a contributor to the funding that we have here at the church. None of this goes to me, all goes to the temple. So just making this clear. Having said that though, I'm listening to Doug. A number of things came to mind. Some of those ideas that we have here, I don't think they are mutually exclusive. So we don't have to select one and not the other. I think there's a possibility of combining several of them. I also think that because it's an important decision that we're making now, I am one for us to look at these decisions. So we pretty much are being exposed to it. The last 15, 30 minutes we have been exposed to it by Doug. I mean, I could quickly say number 3, which would just be a, off the bat kind of response. But giving a kind of assessment that says, listen, we're going to dedicate some time, invest some time in whichever of these that we're taking on. It also invite people to say, I really believe in this, and probably I can lead this, because it's one thing to say, we're going to choose option 1, and you say, who is it that's going to lead option 1 now? And it end up being probably someone on the board, somebody who don't have time, and then it amounts to nothing. So I'm just suggesting that we give this due thought, that it's merit, because it's the future of what we're doing at the church, and in a similar way that we have given some time for the Articles of Association to be assessed and they decide how we incorporate them. I'm suggesting similarly that we do the same. My thoughts.
All right, so just to add to that, so once again, your vote today is giving the board and other members the opportunity to move forward and research further. It's not the case that you select one today and the others are totally not an option. When we have our EGM, we can discuss it further. We can say, all right, this is what we found. We selected number 5. But when we research it, number 5 don't look good again. So let us go back to the drawing board. But we need to make an action or make a decision today to move forward. If not, we're going to be going through the next 3 meetings trying to figure out what we need to do. So the articles, why am I saying articles? The bylaws has been created and we have it and we can look at it now. But we now need to vote so we can make a decision, present it, and continue forward. That's my thoughts on this.
All right, I'll just mention one thing. We need to pay the payroll at the end of April. Right, that's the sobering one. You know, Ernest Hemingway said this in one of his books. He asked one of his friends, how did you go bankrupt? And his friend answered, gradually at first, and then suddenly. We don't want to find ourselves in a situation where we come to an EGM and say, we can't pay the payroll, we can't pay our own people. And this is very, very serious. If there's one thing I want to bring across today, it's a wake-up call to shock us into action. If you want, Norman, we can have option 7, which is to review it for another month or 2 or 3 and then come back again and see how many people vote for it. So I'm not discounting it. In fact, let's put down option 7.
All right, so Reverend Sonia
how much time, Norman, how much time you think we need to review?
So we want to go ahead with that?
Vote.
All right, so can I just give Reverend Sonia
Dennis, go ahead.
and Christine?
One of our previous persons had donated a lot of land in St. Thomas. We have the title. And we were going to find out what the value of that land is. With a new road going that way, the south coast, I'm sure before it was, everybody was forgetting about it. It was really in the bush. But now I think it's having some value. And in this exercise, I think we need to look at that and decide what we can. Oh, you did?
Yeah, just so you know, we put together a wealth development committee of the subcommittee of the board, and we investigated that property. It's a long time before that property will have any meaningful value because you can't even access it. There's no infrastructure there as yet, and so research has been done on that.
All right, so Reverend Sonia has a quick question, and then Christine, or is it Tyrell? One of the two. I apologize.
While we're waiting for the high hanging fruits, I just have a question about the low hanging fruits. How much would it rent for to have a workshop, a one-day workshop on a Saturday at the temple, maybe on a weekly basis? I was a part of a group that used to rent Eden Gardens for workshops every Saturday. Once a month, no, Reverend Ann? I don't remember. Very popular workshop, right? And this could happen like in short order if we knew how much it was worth for a Saturday workshop from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay.
Another thing, there's been a lot of activity that you all aren't privy to every single thing, but operations has been addressed, meaning that we now have new rental rates. In order to calculate that, we can give you the rental rates. It's accessible to any and everybody. And then you can determine exactly how much income we would get. But again, you know, that's a pie in the sky kind of thing. If it's a for real kind of thing, then we can, you know, factor that in. We want what's real. We don't want, just pie in the sky ideas, you all. But we do have the rental rates established.
We have Christine, who has been having her hand up for some time now.
Okay, just very quickly. We did a strategic plan years ago. There are many, many ideas that were agreed upon to bring forth the attendance and increase the income of Temple of Light. The reason that it has not been implemented is that we didn't have the money to do any of those plans. We don't have the money to get the place ready for the type of plans that we had. Like, for instance, Mr. Arain is donating the drums and so. Well, that's great. And it will bring the kids in. We have lots of people that will come here, but we must upgrade this place, okay? So I'm just suggesting that we keep in mind that we do have plans in place. We need money to implement some of those plans. Thank you.
Can you give the microphone to Tyrell, please? He has been waiting.
I'm going to do a calculation. Okay, so we're getting 900,000 a month in income.
900 to $1 million.
Right, okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe, let's take half, 500,000, or maybe 600,000 are offering, the rest is rent.
Between offerings and...
How much?
230,000.
Okay, so 700,000 is...
tithes, offerings, donations.
Offerings. So I have committed, I'm going to double my own. If all of us do it, we'll get 1.4 million a month. And the expenses are 1.3, so we'll be in surplus, so we cannot do all the things that we want to do. Because remember what I've said, that's what comes first. We're not coming out of this unless we give more. We cannot treat our temple, our dear, lovely temple as a hobby. That you say, boy, come when I want, spend an hour, gone again, come in a month's time and just give a token amount. It can't work. That's not how churches work. And remember one other thing, a lot of young people, I've asked, what are you doing? They said they're going to a church, but they're not going to our church. They're going to churches that have 200, 500 people there. So it's not like it's a universal problem. Okay, enough from me. So
Tyrell?
Tyrell.
Go ahead, Christine.
Yeah, sorry. There's a question online from Marguerite Arain. Will the 1 acre that you're proposing to sell, one of the options, would that take away a part of the meditation garden?
A small piece, yes.
That's what she wants to know.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Oh, okay, the acre, right. There most of the another person is asking that can we take some time to come to a decision and not really do the decisions today?
The short answer is I think we said yes. Are we? No.
Oh, I'm just saying, we need to have a sense of urgency around doing this. We have been operating for 6 months at a deficit. If you can't pay my salary, I'm back in the United States because I can't sustain myself without a salary.
Okay, so I just wanted to point out also that this past week, because there are things that are happening, we rented the space over there, the parking lot, the same place that is the 1 acre that we want to divest. We rented it this week and we made over 100,000 for the week because right now there's a carnival events happening, so they rented it for parking. Then there is the school next door who came over on Friday and rented it for their sports day. So $50,000 and the prep school paid it without even flinching. So my point is there are things that are happening that we can leverage, but we need, you know what we need? Somebody to market this place. I am so tired of hearing all the talk about it's a wedding venue and whatever, but there's nobody marketing it. And I'm telling you, that's what we need. I just know that there are options because the rental rates exist. Denise did a function here on Sunday, on Friday, that she rented space in the annex, and that was for a meeting for the Down syndrome, that's right? So there are people who are renting the space, but we're not marketing this place for it to be occupied. So if you know any marketers, please get them on board.
So yeah, just to confirm, that is under option 3, renting the space.
But listen, if that's the case, can't we pay somebody to do social media for us and put things on social media? Let us pay. No, but if we are to bring money in, we have to advertise.
All right.
So all of these ideas sound like, I'm not biasing you or prejudicing you, but they're sounding like we need to investigate option 3 more fully. And the reality is you do have to have a dedicated marketeer in order for option 3 to work. However, that's a part of the due diligence that has to be done to identify someone. We have to budget for that. We have to make it happen. So just want to impress that upon you.
So with that said, can I ask Valerie, Chuck, our treasurer? All right, one more question.
Yes. Whatever we're doing, there is a word of caution. And the word of caution is that...
Can I have everyone's attention? Lascelles is talking.
There is the possibility, there is just a possibility that if we put up trailers, there are X number of trailers, and people begin to, there is just a possibility that the KSAC might come to you and say you're operating outside of your...
So that's a part of the due diligence process that we'll have to look into.
So this is a caution that I want to give.
Okay, no problem. All right, with that said, I'm going to ask no more questions and ask Valerie to present on the unaudited financials that she has shared, which is for the year
Hold on a minute,
end.
are we going to vote on this?
No, we want Valerie to share her financials and then we can come back to the option to vote. So Valerie, you can come up. Can I get a microphone? Hello. Doug?
So we're going to hear the financials.
You have to hold this inside.
Hello, yes. Okay, I'm just wanting to say that for the record, some accounts have been presented. They are unaudited and they are not complete. We had some challenges in converting the software and all of this, but the auditor was not available to audit them yet because she was busy. She's kind of available now. They will get audited, but please remember, these accounts go up to June 2024, almost a year ago. So the figures that are in it are really ancient. So but I just wanted to record that something has been presented to the meeting. Unaudited, but something has been presented. If there are any questions, I can try and answer them, but it's just something. Yes, yes.
So my question is, because you are doing the accounting and you're overseeing the bookkeeping and all of that, from your expertise, what's the forecast for us over the next 6 months, based on what you've seen thus far? Can you answer that?
Well, yes, I'm not sure what figures you were given, but at the board meetings, I present a month-by-month actual income and expenditure. Is that what you give, no?
Yes.
Yes. So it just shows what actually happens, not what should happen or what we hope to happen, but what actually happened, what actually came in and what actually went out, and that shows a deficit each month. So I don't see any chance of it getting any better without something happening. So I agree, something needs to happen. Talk about payroll. Occasionally, the staff doesn't get paid till the following month and that is not good. So, anything else? Thank you. That's it? Thank you. Anything?
All right, so just to reiterate, I guess I'm with myself and Jennifer as the Subcommittee of Finance for the Board of Trustees. Just confirming that this is definitely the numbers that we've been seeing over the months. As Mr. Orain had shared, generally looking at $1 million a month coming in, with expenses being in the range of 1.3 to 1.5 million a month. Of course, this subcommittee has to meet separately, just based on all the work that we have to do beforehand, and sometimes we spend around 2 to 3 hours before a board meeting, generally on Mondays, to even figure out how we're going to make the payments. We defer payments, we delay persons, we do half payments. There's so many things that we have to do, because straight off the bat, we can't just pay our expenses without juggling things a bit. But with that said, Jennifer, do you want anything to add with regard to the Subcommittee of Finance? Any? No. No, not at this time. Oh, I should note something Valerie said. It's a line that I like to make sure to remind persons. The financials that you see, 1, it's unaudited. 2, it's a cash-based financial, correct? This one is accrued? It's cash-based? Oh, this is accrual-based. Okay, all right. So I don't need to go and clarify on that one. With that said, I don't know if I need to invite Mr. Orain with regards to the voting, or we can go ahead and start voting. Everyone has a slip? Yes, we're still voting. We're still voting. So
starting the process,
does everyone have a slip to vote? Tick beside the option you want. I think Chima doesn't have. I don't have one. Chima and Reverend Ann. Reverend Ann, is that a question or you need a paper? Oh, paper. Oh, which is the option to do option 2 then. All right, so fair enough to say that option 6, which you can write on, which is to look into option 2, and based on the feedback from that, we can move into option 3. That's option 6. Everyone heard that? Everyone understand option 6? No questions with regard to option 6? All right,
let's keep it option 6. If you are for option 6, right at the bottom,
number
6, and write option 1 first.
Option 2.
Sorry, option 2 first, then option 3. Keep it simple. That's simple,
Yes, that's simple.
All right, so option 6 is option 2 first, then option 3. Which is what? Delay? Well, if you want, okay, let's be fair, put down option 7. But he didn't answer the question. How much longer? No, but that's not an official meeting, so we have to keep it simple. There are 6 options.
Or the
What?
EGM you're referring to, or?
No, I,
Oh, when you do the bylaws, okay.
just keep it simple. 6 options.
All right, with that. With that said, anyone who has voted, you can come up and place it in the ballot box. At the front, we have one on the left and one at the right. Please fold them. You can fold them in 3. All right, it really doesn't matter, but you can fold them. Like this. Has all the votes come in? Anyone who needs a pen? No, everybody's done. Oh. Any other votes coming in? Anybody need a pen? Oh, tallying online? All right, no problem. Lauren, you can just give me a thumbs up when you're done with online, or Tyrell. All right, give us a few moments as we count the ballots. Yeah, and those online is being tallied. All right, everyone, can we find our seats and prepare to continue and almost end our AGM? All right, everyone, can I have your attention? Our treasurer, oh, why am I don't know what's happening today with treasurer and secretary. Our secretary is going to present the votes. You come to the online, right?
Sorry? Yes. All right, good afternoon, everyone. So, votes for option 1, there were 5 votes for option 1. Option 2, there was 1 vote for option 2. Option 3, there were 24 votes for option 3. And option 6, there were 9 votes for option 6. So option 3 with 24 votes is the top voted option, followed by option 6 with 9, option 1 with 5, and option 2 with 1 vote. Remind you of what? All right. Good afternoon, everybody. All right, so once again, option 1, which was sell 1 acre lot B, open land adjacent to our neighbor Unity School, take the proceeds of, say, $2 million US, invest long-term, use interest and dividend income to sustain the church. That was option 1, and that received 5 votes. Option 2, which was secure lot B via lease. Lease income will help sustain the church. Entities with the means to lease such a large lot usually build on it and would likely prefer to buy. That was option 2, and that received 1 vote. Option 3, expand the community of entrepreneurs we currently have. We already have 2 successful businesses that pay rent income. Example, Just Sugar and Afria Yoga and Pilates Studio. Rent space on either lot A or B for such small businesses. Possibilities include, for example, vegan meals currently at Seymour Place and a Saturday marketplace for craft and fresh produce and other businesses. That was option 3, and that received 24 votes. Option 6, you know what option 6 is, right? There were no votes for option 4 or 5. I think you need to come read it now. Option 4 was sell the entire property of lots A, 1.5 acres, and B, 1 acre, buy a smaller property for temple. That was option 4. Option 5 is continue as is. All right, so option, which is do nothing, right? So option 6 was option 3, and so option 2, then 3. Option 2, then 3 was option 6. So for that one, there were 9 votes. All right, so option 3 had 24 votes, which was expand the community of entrepreneurs. You can take these. Yeah, because we need to write them down. Thanks, Phaedra and Janet.
I was just about to say thank you, Phaedra and Janet, and thank you all for those who voted. With that, I think, one moment, where am I on this thing? Do I need to move a motion? Reverend Michelle, remind me. The voting is just it. Do we just, that's it. All right, no problem. With that said, we are not done just yet, but almost done. I'm just seeing the time, apologies. All right, so I just want to thank everyone. I want to also, before I say thanks to everyone, I want to remind everyone to please support the Temple of Light fundraising activities. This is also needed to carry out our financial obligations and, of course, build our community. So that's also a good reminder for the concert that is next week, Sunday. Please purchase your tickets, whether from someone you know that is selling or from the temple's office. With that, I just want to thank everyone for coming out to the 43rd Annual General Meeting for the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you, and I look forward for everyone's support, whether it's a committed giving, whether it's a tithe, whether it's a purchase of the book from the book room. However you can support this spiritual home we all love and enjoy. And I want to ask Tamu if she can close. No? Oh, not Tamu. Oh, okay. Who can I ask to close us out? Reverend Ann. Reverend Ann? Our wonderful Reverend Ann Shan, could you close us out? Thank you so much, and thank you everyone, but let's Reverend Ann close us out, and then we can officially call the meeting to adjournment.
Thank you all, and it's in this consciousness of gratitude for who we are and what we stand for. I just know that that infinite power and presence that's here in the midst of this wonderful meeting, engaging, and indeed, lots of issues, but we just know that for each one of us who have allowed ourselves to be the hands and feet of the Almighty, we give thanks for what has transpired. We give thanks for the decisions. We give thanks for our commitment to ensure that indeed this teaching is still resident in this beautiful home. So we just know that as we leave here, we go with God, and that power and presence ensures that our pathway is safe, secure, and easy. And indeed, each one of us, we have been a blessing to each other, a blessing to this entire cosmos, because we stand for truth, we stand for peace, we stand for love and commitment and community. We thank God for our senior minister, we thank God for our practitioners, our ministers, and all who have allowed themselves, who are sitting here, to be part of this process. So we just let go and let God. I give thanks that this is so, and so it is.
All right, with that, can I have a motion move for the adjournment of the annual general meeting, moved by Zoe Saunders, seconded by Christy